आगे अब जान छूट जाए ये जान छूट जाए संग प्यार रहे मैं रहूं ना रहूं सजदा तेरा सजदा दिन रहने करूं ना चैन करूं सजदा तेरा सजदा रखवाली करूं मेरी जान लुट लूं अब जान छूट जाए ये जान छूट जाए संग प्यार रहे मैं रहूं ना रहूं सजदा तेरा सजदा दिल रहने करूं ना चैन करूं सजदा तेरा सजदा तेरा सजदा
Suriname Airways. Proud to serve you.
Rishta.com, de datingsite voor de Hindoestaanse, Pakistaanse en Indiase gemeenschap. Rishta.com hecht grote waarde aan jouw geluk. De liefde is prachtig, cliché en veel dichterbij dan je denkt. Vier het leven en de zoektocht naar jouw geluk. Rishta.com biedt je vertrouwd en de leukste manier om singles te ontmoeten, zodat jij alleen jezelf kunt zijn. Schrijf je nu gratis in of download de app.
Joe Blasco is de nummer 1 professionele cosmetica uit Hollywood en bekend bij professionals in de film, theater en entertainmentwereld. Uitermate geschikt voor alle huidtypes, van licht tot donker. Bezoek onze websites www.s-center.com en www.joeblascobenelux.com.
AGN Ayurveda Nederlands. Met meer dan 30 jaar ervaring en begrip onder de deskundige leiding van de heer Anil Kumar Mehta, de oudste Ayurvedische kliniek in Nederland. U kunt bij AGN terecht voor een vakkundig gezondheidsadvies en klassieke Ayurvedische behandelingen. Immers, een simpele tip kan voor u een wereld van verschil betekenen. Ons motto: leef bewust, weet wie u bent, wat u eet en geniet van het leven. Wilt u Ayurveda leren? Dat kan ook. Bij ons opleidingsinstituut IJsra kunt u diverse beroepsopleidingen volgen tot Ayurvedic Practitioner, Ayurvedic Technician, Ayurvedische massagetherapeut, Ayurveda Yoga Teacher en Therapist. IJsra, uw kans om Ayurveda te leren en de mensheid van dienst te zijn.
Notariskantoor Lont en Lalma Homet voor al uw notariële zaken in Nederland. Denk aan de aan- en verkoop van uw huis, hypotheekakte, oprichten van BV's, stichtingen en verenigingen en al uw familierechtszaken, zoals testamenten, huwelijkse voorwaarden en boedels. Wij bieden echter meer. U hoeft niet naar Suriname om uw notariële zaken daar te regelen. Wij zorgen voor de begeleiding omdat wij kennis van zaken en contacten hebben met notarissen in Suriname. Daardoor bespaart u hoge kosten. Wij houden de contacten laagdrempelig en de communicatie helder. De klant is bij ons koning en kwaliteit is een topprioriteit. Neem contact met ons op of kijk op onze website.
For centuries, people have been traveling abroad to improve their destiny. This is often accompanied by challenges and adventures. People are always searching for new horizons. The story of the Indian diaspora is a fascinating story. There are now nearly 30 million Indians living outside of India. Some left India nearly 150 years ago and went to Mauritius, South Africa, Fiji, Guyana, Trinidad, and Suriname. The estimated size of the Indian community in the Netherlands is about 200,000 people, the largest population of Indian origin living in any continental European country. Nearly 30,000 non-residential Indians came to the Netherlands either directly from India or via other countries after the independence in 1947. About 170,000 Hindustani of Indian origin came to the Netherlands from Suriname before or after the independence of Suriname in 1975. Their forefathers had gone to Suriname about 140 years ago, in the period between 1873 and 1916. In the Indian diaspora, we will get to know some of the success stories of the ambitious Indians who came from India and who have found their way in Dutch society. What is their drive? How come they became this successful? And what are they giving back to society? The Indian diaspora give you an insight in the stories of these Indians in the Netherlands.
Whether you like it or not, India is going to touch your life either as a consumer or as a worker or as a producer. This is no longer a matter of choice.
Whatever you do, try to make a difference. Don't stand in the row, but try to lead.
Always think big. Don't think small. Think like a king. Kingdom shall follow.
I was hungry, I really wanted to, I really didn't want to have a job, I wanted to make it and I wanted to make it quick.
You can see the drive and the inspiration and the hunger in an Indian's eyes. It seems that we're just born with it and it's sort of ingrained in us as people. And I'm extremely excited about, the opportunities that all of us Indians have in the Netherlands.
My name is Ram Lakhina. I come out of India and I have been living in the Netherlands since 1963. I was studying in Delhi University, in Delhi School of Economics, for my master's degree, when I got a scholarship to go and study in the United States. It was the purpose of the United States to pick up promising young student leaders from different parts of the world and give them an exposure to the United States. So I went to University of Minnesota, where I completed my master's degree in economics. I had barely completed my degree just by a week when I got an invitation from the Netherlands to come and work for an international organization based in this country. The organization was called Research and Information Commission of the International Student Conference, which had its international secretariat in Leiden-Oostgeest area. The people of Indian origin have done remarkably well outside India. It is from starting from very simple base against all odds, the success stories are astounding.
Well, my name is Jasbir Singh. I'm a lawyer by profession. Originally, I come from India, northwest of India, the state of Punjab, bordering Pakistan. It was quite a long time back in 1972. I start early in the morning, and the first thing do early in the morning is a little bit of meditation, bit of yoga, bit of exercises to keep myself healthy and have the energy to make a long day. I was studying in India. I came from quite a rural background. I was the first person to go to the university from our community there. And luckily enough, I was somehow good at English, and I passed my bachelor's with honors in English. So that was the reason my professors at that time, they said, okay, you have talent, you must go to Oxford in UK and come back with a degree in education. And so that with that intention, I say, okay, I will try, and Oxford accepted me. But before going there, I thought, let me see a little bit of Europe. So I went to Germany, I went to France, I went to Belgium, and that was very short stay, and then I landed up here in the Netherlands. And that was, I'm talking about 1972. The atmosphere was so good, so attractive, the people so friendly, that I thought, why should I move to any other country when this seems to be kind of promised land? The nature of the people was quite people being frank, hardworking, physically strong, all those features that we have in India, especially these are attributed to the Punjabis, the community where I come from. So that made it very easy for me to settle down. I was young, only 19 at that time. You cannot always think about the long-term planning, and it was an emotional decision to stay here. So I had to start thinking of earning something, and in those days there were just labor exchange for students. They sent me for 4 days to a firm that preserves fruits and vegetables, and I landed up as first Indian in that firm. And again the same story, that the management, the directors, and even that the colleagues, they were so overwhelmingly friendly. And that 4 days, initially that was my intention, that changed to almost 20 years of service in the same firm.
Why I came to Holland out of India, I'm an ex-army officer, had a lot of responsibilities in India, so I left the army and I thought, let me go to Europe and see what I can do there. So once I came to Holland, life was not easy. It was very tough, very, very tough. In the years 74 and 75, the snow was very severe. It was very, very cold, and I really didn't know what to do. So one day I was standing, I found a job as a dishwasher, but then one day I was standing on the lights plane thinking with my last couple of guilders in my pocket whether to walk to Buitenveld where I was working or take a bus, but the bus would cost me 1 gulden. At that particular moment, the gentleman approached me and he said, "Are you from India?" So I said, "Yes, of course I'm from India." And then he saw my turban and my outfit and he said, "So you are a Sikh?" I said, "Yes, of course I'm a Sikh." He said, "You don't mind joining me for a drink? I would like to invite you for a drink." I was a little bit hesitant, but then I thought to myself, maybe if I have a cognac, then I can walk to Buitenveld. So this gentleman took me to this bar on the lights plane, and I ordered a cognac. And he asked me, "What are you doing?" So I told him that this is my background and this is what I'm doing. And then he said, "But why? Why don't you get into business or something like that?" So I said, "I have no money. And I have no experience of business either." Then he says, "Look, I've got an idea for you. Why don't you start importing textiles, ready-made garments from India? And of course, my answer was, I have no experience, nothing like that. He says, why don't you go to V&D, C&A, and Foxy Fashion, all these shops, go and have a look what they're buying out of India. See what they are selling out of India. So that is how my whole life changed. I started going to C&A, I went to V&D and studied the whole business of textiles, what were being imported from India. 10 days or 2 weeks later, I bought 3 samples in C&A. And then I found out who the buyer of C&A is. I said, I've got these 3 samples for you. So I opened, those days when you flew KLM, they would give you a briefcase kind of a thing. So I opened that KLM briefcase and I took out those 3 samples. And he was so angry when he saw those samples. He said, these samples are from my shop. I said, yes, Mr. Fernwicken, these are from your shop. Last 2 weeks, I've been coming to your shop every day. And what I noticed, this model is your best-selling model. This is your number 2 model. And this is your number 3 model. The moment he got my answer, he was surprised. He says, you told me you're from the army and you don't know anything about business, but you're right. This is my best-sold model. He said, okay, because you're here, I will give you an order. So he started writing the order. He says, so what's the name of the company? And I didn't know anything about the company. So I just said, oh, Guru. Oh, he said, Guru is a very good name. So that's how he wrote the order. And I got the first order of 5,000 pieces. Now with those 5,000 pieces, the gentleman who had offered me a drink, he had given me a card. He was a director in ABN AMRO Bank. So I went to him straight away. First thing he did, in the evening, it was already 6 o'clock, 6:30. He opened a bottle of champagne. He said, well done, Harry. Now what you have to do, you have to find a right supplier from India and make sure that you deliver in time. The C&A gave you an order to deliver in 6 weeks. You must make sure it is here 4 weeks. He financed my trip to India. I went to India. And that's how I found my first supplier.
In 1968, circumstances developed due to the Cold War, which was going on at that time. The organization got restructured, and I left the International Student Conference. A question arose in my mind at that time, what did I want to do? I had a very serious interest in Indian politics. So one option was to go back to India and pursue a career in politics. By that time, I was already married, and my wife and I discussed the subject and came to the conclusion that to be independent in politics and to be honest in politics, particularly in a developing country such as India, it was important to have a sound financial base so that family will not be affected by ups and downs which can happen in politics. So I decided to go into import of ethnic clothing items from India to the Netherlands, and due to the right moment, the right thing at the right time, the business became almost instantly successful and started flourishing.
I think that I achieved what I wanted in 2 years' time. I got the degrees, bachelor and masters in the law. Interestingly enough, because originally when I was told that it can take 8 or 10 or more years, I thought, okay, if it is that's what the Dutch people are doing, for me it can take even longer because I don't command the Dutch language. So that in those 2 years, what I was studying in the evening, I did different things, management, translation, Horika, that kind of just all those diplomas I thought I can use somewhere. If my company fails, I have something to start with. But I could not use any of those things because in 2 years' time I had the LLM in law, and the community was very enthusiastic about my achievement. I I could strike a deal with a law company immediately to start as a partner with them. So then I decided to move to Hoofddorp in year 2000. I migrated to this and started my practice where I am right now.
So a day came when we started importing from 17 different countries. India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Turkey, Portugal, Hong Kong, Thailand. And then I moved, in between I moved my office to World Fashion Center, Berghaus. We had our own showroom in the World Fashion Center by the name of Kikidine. And then I got a lot of orders from C&A. I took C&A people to India, Foxy Fashion, V&D, then Macro, and then what, and it continued. And it went on and on and on. And ultimately, in the year 98, I had enough of it. I was getting bored with traveling. I wanted something new, something challenging. And so in the year 98, then I sold my business complete.
Every day has 24 hours. And even if you spend 12 hours on your job and a couple of hours at home, you have enough time left for some community work. So I try to do my best to do something for the community. So there we keep ourselves busy with lots of seminars, conferences, research papers concerning all kind of issues relating to India. In addition to that, there is another challenging job. There's another organization called Foundation for Indian Diaspora in Europe. The main aim of that organization is to unite the various sections of Indian society, empower the society as a whole, and try to reach higher goals, higher destinations. So this is your own dedication to the cause. But I am also lucky. I would like to mention that some of the senior colleagues who motivated me and inspired me are people like my dear friend Mr. Ramdjan Abdoelrahman, Mr. Badri Madan, Mr. Dr. Vasant Muharrar. These are the people who guided me when I was young. They were, of course, they are senior to me, and this is what I feel proud of, that we had people who are kind of pioneers of our society here, and they are still around to advise us, to guide us.
The success stories are numerous at different levels, whether it is at the level of Nobel Prize winners, or political leaders, or business leaders in all walks of life. And the idea arose that we need a platform, a global platform, to organize all these people to serve a number of objectives, including to help the people of Indian origin in some political situations. These ideas led to a convention in New York, in the United States in 1999, which was initiated by people of Indian origin from the United States to explore the idea of creating a global platform. And on behalf of the Foundation for Critical Choices for India, we played a role. We were invited from here to go to that convention. At that convention, we came to the conclusion that we wanted to create a formal organization called GOPIO, Global Organization of People of Indian Origin. The organizational matters, writing of the constitution, communicating with people around the world, bringing them together, took some time, but we were able to hold the next convention at a global level in New Delhi, where I was formally elected as the first chairman of GOPIO. I'm referring to the global platform involving all the countries. The objectives were many, but to mention only 2 or 3 important ones: to meet, to exchange ideas, to learn from each other's experience, to help each other in hours of need, particularly in some difficult political situation, such as it existed at that time in Fiji, where the Indian community was not getting a fair deal. We came to their support. We made a petition to the United Nations, and because Fiji is a small country,
धड़कन से तेज दौड़ूं सपनों से आगे अब जान लुट जाए ये जान छूट जाए संग प्यार रहे मैं रहूं ना रहूं सजदा तेरा सजदा करूं सजदा दिन रहने करूं ना चैन करूं.
Agribierij regelt uw uitvaarten volgens uw geloof. Zij begeleidt ook de nabestaanden bij de rituelen. Door 16 jaar kennis en ervaring is Agribierij in staat u een volledige dienstenpakket te leveren. Het maakt niet uit waar u verzekerd bent. Agribierij kan de uitvaart voor u regelen. Ook als u niet verzekerd bent, kan Agribierij uw uitvaart regelen. Agribierij is vanaf 2014 een keurmerkondernemer geworden. Voor meer informatie kunt u terecht op onze website.
Juwelier Parbogoud is het adres voor al uw exclusieve Surinaamse en Europese sieraden. Al ruim 25 jaar specialist met een grote eigen collectie, waar u ook terecht kunt voor het laten maken van uw eigen ontwerpen. Wij kopen goud in tegen de hoogste prijs. En reparaties aan uw sieraden zijn klaar terwijl u wacht. Voor exclusiviteit en kwaliteit gaat u naar Parbogoud. In Den Haag aan de Hoefkade 820 en in Rotterdam aan de Grote Visserijstraat 39.
Get on the dance floor.